It's the 2nd of June today, and the second day of 30 Days Wild with the Wildlife Trust. Today I'm going to be continuing on the theme from yesterday. I built a butterfly puddling station to help butterflies access water during this hot weather. What I want to do now is to upkeep some of the other water stations that I already have in my garden. So making sure that things like the bird feeder has correct water and is cleaned out, as well as making sure that the ponds are supplying water properly. It's really important to be supplying your garden birds with water sources at this time of year. It's starting to get a lot hotter, which means that natural water sources can be starting to dry up, making it harder for them to find their water in the environment. They're also trying to raise chicks, which means they don't have as much time to go out looking for that water. So knowing that they've got a consistent water source in your garden can be really helpful. It is important though to make sure that you're cleaning out these bird waterers on a regular basis. You don't want diseases like bird flu to be spreading and actually causing more harm than good in the garden. The water bowl that I have attached to my garden bird feeder often attracts a huge flock of starlings who raise their chicks and then bring them to my garden each year. This can cause a lot of mess, so I have to frequently make sure that I'm cleaning it out. All I need to do is just scrub it out, or sometimes if it's really bad, add a little bit of warm soapy water, and then it's good to go to refill and help my other garden birds. My pond is a little bit more complex. I still haven't quite figured out the right balance of oxygenating plants, so I get an awful lot of algae growth at this time of year, and I need to be able to upkeep that so that the water is clear, healthy for the birds to drink, and that they actually realise the water is even there. I'm going to make sure that I'm wearing gloves because I don't want to get anything that the water might be carrying from all the different animals that visit it on my own skin and then potentially pass it on within my house. So I'm going to basically start by scooping up all of the algae that I can, making sure to get in around the plants as well to really give them more ability to breathe and get the oxygen from the water. It's really important to know that there might be life living within the algae, different pond bugs and stuff like that, that you don't want to be just completely getting rid of straight away into the compost. So what I like to do is take this algae and then just leave it on the side of the pond for a little bit so that that gives those little creatures the chance to migrate back into the water before I then take it away once it's dried out, and I can put it on my compost, or if you've got some sort of like a brown recycling bin for garden waste, you could put it in there as well to make sure that it's going back into the environment. And I might also sometimes decide to top up the water if I've cleared out the algae and it looks like the water level is getting a little bit low. So this usually just depends on whether it's rained or not recently. I do a quick double check to make sure that the stones that I've placed are still partially submerged and partially out of the water. This makes sure that anything that lands in the pond that doesn't live in the pond is able to have a way to get out. And I've also got the steps that I mentioned in the video when I actually built the pond that help slightly larger animals from getting out if they end up stuck in there. And that's my water sources cleared. So I now have a nice fresh drinking station for my garden birds, and then also a surface on the ground for animals to drink out of, things like foxes or hedgehogs if they visit my garden, as well as some of those larger ground-dwelling garden birds that don't tend to like to use the feeders as much. Let me know if you've got any water sources in your garden and the sort of upkeep that you have to do to maintain them. I'm quite lucky that the water sources that I've got don't actually require too much maintenance. Maybe a few minutes a week to just check on them, and then a little bit longer for the pond every so often through the year if that algae is growing up. If you want to follow along for 30 Days Wild and get some extra tips about how you can help wildlife in your local area, then make sure to subscribe to my channel and also check out some of my other videos that discuss wildlife-friendly gardening.